All right, guys. I had a request for IWM and CEI has been pretty popular, so I thought I'd go over those two. I had a request for IWM and CEI has been pretty popular, so I thought I'd go over those two. All right, we're going to start off with CEI. So with the breakdown with CEI, it's tricky, but I do like the setup. It does read everything we like to see as far as indicators. What you have is you have this major breakout here, and then obviously those are what you'd consider a pump and dump, but it does start setting up the chart, and obviously it becomes more popular because you have people that are tied into it. But what you've seen is that it's dipped and it's starting to curve back around. Now on the daily chart, you do have 3 out of the 4 indicators that I like to see, but not in the order I necessarily like to see them. I prefer to see stochastic slow, the momentum, and the MACD crossover with the ADX increasing. In this case, you have the stochastic slow crossover, momentum above 0. The MACD has not crossed over, but it is headed in the right direction. And the ADX is above 25. So those would be the 3 indicators, would be the ADX, the momentum, and the stochastic. And then your breakout would happen when the MACD crosses back over. Now, I'm looking at a daily chart right now, and what we would see, since we had entered these Bollinger Bands and we have our Fibonacci retracement for resistance and support levels, is that when we came back down, we didn't come back down to that 21-cent support, which is a good sign before we started curving back up. But until you have a breakout happen, you're looking at the Bollinger as the top line, which in this case is 83 cents. And then obviously if it starts pushing through that, you have 98 cents. And considering that it's sitting at 58 cents, it's actually not a bad place to be. That's a good growth, a lot of profit to be made there. So what we do is I go back down to the 4-hour chart, because that's usually where I take my trades. And when you look at the 4-hour chart, you have the same thing. You have the stochastic popping, momentum popping, MACD has popped, and actually you're sitting at 26 on the ADXR with an increasing sign. So this is a good looking setup. The only thing we're keeping an eye on is, can it break this 58 or 59 cent level, which is the 180-day and also the 50-day. So both of these are sitting at a pretty strong resistance level when you have both of them that it's trying to push through. However, once it breaks through those and can hold above them, then it's pretty probably pretty certain that you're going to have a 98-cent breakout there, and you're going to hit that. All right, we're going to go to IWM. IWM, I got this one on special request, and with this chart setup, it's great for the long-term, trending. You can see that it's been going up for quite a while. However, it's not great for breakout right now because it's sitting at the top of its game. Typically, when you're sitting at the top on these highs, there's not a whole lot for it to do because it's trying to figure out if it's reached its max. Does it need to pull back? Can it go further? So what we're looking at is we're going to look for it to enter consolidation, and it has entered consolidation on the daily chart. So when things enter consolidation, it's not ready to break out. However, that's the indication that we're going to keep an eye on this over the next, week or two to see, where it's going, because we do want to know when it is ready to break out. So what happened is it hit its high, it pulled back to this support level at 162, and it went back up and didn't break through the 170. So now we know we're in consolidation, and the indicators show the same thing. You have a downward ADX with a downward MACD, with a downward momentum, with a downward stochastic. Remember, whenever they're moving all together like that, then you're entering consolidation, even though it's a strong dip, because these are, very volatile stocks and they move a lot. That was essentially like an $8 move, but it's recovered just the same. So you can see that when you have your Bollinger Bands active, you can see that it's actually just playing right inside the Bollinger Bands, which shows that you have that consolidation channel. So for the daily, then I'm going to go to the weekly though to see, where we might be headed. And in this particular instance, you have this increased MACD with the downward ADX, downward momentum, and downward stochastic, which tells me that this is ready for some kind of pullback. And this is a weekly chart, so that means you're going to see over the course of weeks, I would expect to see something similar to what we saw in this area here, where it got into a consolidation for a couple months before it popped again. That's what I would expect to see just based on what I see right here. And then I always go on 4-hour chart because that's what I like to trade on to see that everything makes sense. Okay, so we have the downward ADX, the downward MACD, momentum sitting just above zero, and stochastic is almost at the bottom, trying to pull back up. So what you'll see is that you would have 2 indicators going up and 2 indicators going down, and that's the same thing as a consolidation channel. So this setup right here, I wouldn't do anything for IWM. It'd just be something that if that's a ticker that you like to watch and trade off of, this would be one of those sit and watch instances and wait for it to consolidate and figure out which direction it wants to go, whether that be up or down. So with that being said, that's it for these 2 tickers for now. I'm probably going to get back on in a little bit and go through my scanner and see if I find any trades that are worthwhile. But that's it for now. All right, guys, take care.